Before we get into this video, I just want to say that I have a survey up and it's about crafting and mental health and how it intersects together. And it would be really great if you guys can fill it in and help me out. I think it'll be going on for about 2-3 weeks from the date of this video. So if you want to do it, it's in the description, or you can check out this QR code if you're on a smart TV. Just use your phone, do the fancy thing if you want to. Link as well in the description box and in the comments. If you complete it, you get 20% off the Bandar beanie, which is releasing next month. So that's very exciting. I just want to say that before we get started with this video. And thank you so much. Okay, enjoy. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Bash Harry and this is the Harry Knit. We do a lot of videos about knitting and crafting and all that good stuff, so if you're interested, please subscribe, I really appreciate it. Today, I want to revisit a video that I made last year, which was 20 size inclusive patterns for the summer. And I know that a lot of people are entering fall, winter time around this October, November cusp, so I wanted to make a video all about size inclusive patterns. Sometimes they're a little bit difficult to find, which is admittedly something that still to this day we need to take into account different body sizes, body types, and I've got 15 patterns that I think are pretty cool. They're very cozy, they're very stylish for the autumn weather, so grab your knitting needles if you want to watch this. And let's get started. I want to note that my criteria for size inclusive patterns is to be considered in this video, especially would be up to 9 sizes. So it can accommodate a wide range of people. I know that's not necessarily everyone's choice, and that's totally understandable. So if you have any other ideas of size inclusivity, let me know. I know there's a lot of patterns that are like extra small to extra large, but for me, I'm looking at size extra small to 5XL, but that's just my own personal preference. And I also wanted patterns in this video to be fall related. So admittedly, it's been a while since I've experienced fall. So knitting fall winter type patterns would be kind of a mix for me. For my own personal preference, if it looks really warm, it will be going into this video. And thirdly, I also tried not to use recurring designers that I've featured often, which is not as easy as I thought, because I really like a lot of patterns from the same designers. I've split this video up into 3 sections. We've got the sweaters, the cardigans, and the dresses. I know dresses is like a hit or miss for people during the fall winter time, but I personally really like it. I think it's cozy, it's cool, and knitting dresses is such a challenge, but it's super fun once you get the finished piece in your hands. Anyway, let us get started with the knits. First up is sweaters, and we've got the Northwoods V-neck by Jessie May Designs. I love Jessie May. I have done, I want to say at least 4 or 5 of her patterns in the past 2-3 years ever since I found out about her. Just because, one, I think her patterns in general are really well written, they're super detailed, and they're easy to understand, which is so important for me as not just a pattern designer, but as someone who likes knitting. And 2, I think her style of knitwear is so accommodating to so many different body types, and it just looks good on everyone. And you can play around with the fibers, you can play around with the shapes and the customizations, and I found it really, really great. And one particular pattern that I wanted to shout out is the Northwoods V-neck. I mentioned this in my previous video. I'm slowly getting into stripes. I never really got into it last year, but this year I'm really in a stripy moment. I like a good stripy, colorful sweater, and this is really in my area right now. This uses DK weight yarn, and it's about 4.5 millimeter needles, which is good. I would say that is a perfectly fine knit to make. You can make it up to 2-3 weeks if that's something you're interested in.
Her sizes that are available are extra small to 5X to fit a chest measurement of 28 inches to 60 inches or 71 centimeters to 152.5 centimeters. I really like this as well because it seems like a really great scrappy yarn project. I know we all have like a lot of scrappy yarn for DK weights. I know I do. So this seems like it would be really great to mix and match and just do really nice colors inspired by the autumn season. Her main image here, it's green, it's pink, it's yellows, it's blues, and I think it looks so pretty. But for me personally, I would, if I could, knit a sweater like this, but in maybe a more rustic color scheme, kind of like this orange, kind of inspired by fall and pumpkins and dried fallen leaves. I can just imagine a really rustic sweater with brown and orangey tones. I think that would look so pretty, especially with the stripes. But I'll have to check if I actually have some of those colors in my stash. I have to double check. This is a V-neck, so it's a basic top-down V-neck, which I like. I do like a good top-down sweater. I do like a nice V-neck, and her V-necks are really fun to work up. I don't know, I can't remember. No, I've done one of her sweaters with a V-neck. It was the diaphanous raglan. And if I remember correctly, it was really easy to make. And as I said before, her patterns are super easy to understand, so this would be a breeze to knit up. And if you guys want any examples, you can just check out the Ravelry page. There's so many beautiful designs by different people, and some even made them in solid colors. The solid colors look cool, but I'm really eyeing the stripes. The second sweater that I have is free. This is the Turtle Poof by Beta Jezik from Hedgehog Fibers. This is such a cozy little sweater, but it is very thin. It is a sport weight yarn with 4 millimeters. This is a turtleneck with raglan shaping, and it uses kind of like a kid silk substitute. So I think I have the Drops Kid Silk, so it uses light fingering and lace held together to make a sport weight. This definitely looks so pretty, but I will admit I used to use a lot of sport and fingering yarn, but it does take a lot of time, and because this is all in stockinette stitch, I feel like it's also a pattern that could easily be tiresome to make with just all stockinette. But I do love a good giant ass turtleneck, and she's got a beautiful turtleneck going on. And I'm a sucker for puffy balloon sleeves with a little tight cuff, which this one definitely has. This is definitely one of the patterns that I think takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, but once you see the actual design in your hands, it would feel so great to finally accomplish. It does take up a lot of yarn. I think at most it's about 1,800 meters or almost 2,000 yards. That is a lot of yards. I think I've made a dress for maybe 1,000, 1,200, admittedly in the size extra small. So just keep that in mind if you are using sport weight yarn, which admittedly, if you're using a lighter weight yarn like fingering or sport, you need more of it to be able to make a nice piece. This is free though, and it is very light. So I would say if you want to make something that's really pretty and really warm, Turtle Poof by Beta Jezik. The next sweater that I'm actually recommending is kind of not a sweater, but I'm gonna put this in anyway. It is the No Sweat shirt by Park Williams. I really want to knit up Park Williams. I'm excited to see what her patterns look like, how she details it, because her designs are beautiful. I talked about the Be Mine blouse in the last video, and the No Sweat shirt just looks so cool because I feel like you can definitely wear this for the fall when you're going into uni and you're tired, but you need to throw something on. You wear a hoodie like this. This comes in 9 sizes as well, and it uses DK weight yarn, and it uses reverse stockinette stitch. But the reason why I chose this, because it is lightweight enough that you could probably wear it over top of t-shirts or under jackets and still feel very cozy. And I love the idea of just the little pointy hood or the traditional round hood that you want. And I don't know. I've never tried making a hood, but I think I want to now. This admittedly does use cotton, so I would recommend if you are wearing it for the fall or winter time, you kind of want to change it up to switch into probably a wool, a merino would be really nice. That being said, if I were to make this, it would probably be in a cotton linen just because the weather here probably insists on that. I really like the string and the hood. I think that's what makes me really eye this pattern, even though I know the photos kind of show it in like a desert summery kind of vibe. I think it would look really, really pretty nonetheless. It is a crop, but because this is knit from the top down, you can definitely just knit as much as you can to elongate it if that's what you're comfortable with. I would probably do something like that as well. So just keep that in mind if you are planning on making this no sweatshirt. I wonder though if it would be easy enough to wear when you're out and about. I wonder that living in a country where the heat is usually 30, maybe even 35, thanks climate change, I'm curious to see how it would fare in different sorts of weathers. For me personally, if I would to make this, it would be cotton, yes. And I think it's also cotton because it's just easy to clean, especially if there's rain. I could easily just throw this on. All right, what is the next one we've got? This is the Friendship Pullover by Amy Shear. This comes in 10 sizes. They size it A to J with an upper bust measurement of 31 inches to 60.25 inches. This is of the heavier weight variety with worsted weight yarn, but it also uses 4.5 millimeter needles, so I'm sure it's probably going to be a very tight gauge or a tight fit for you. The reason why I decided to choose this is the cable work. Sometimes I'm a little scared of cable work, but I feel like this is easy and pretty enough that it doesn't look so intimidating as opposed to something like Irene Lin, which her patterns are so beautiful, but they're very intricate and sometimes it can be very overwhelming. This one, however, I think looks absolutely beautiful with the cable work right in front of the sweater. And I love the turtleneck. I think it's a really big turtleneck and I think that's really, really cool. It's almost very sporty and I would say that you can probably make this unisex. These are all women knitting it, but I feel like this would be a really great gift if you are a dude or you're knitting for a dude. I think it would be a really fun. I like how the cables meet other cables and I'm very curious to see how it would look like, especially with maybe a thinner wool, something that's maybe a DK but still meets the gauge. I'd be curious to see how it would look like, especially with the cables. But that's just my personal opinion. If you wanted to do it worsted, like what Amy recommended, it probably would look a bit heavier, definitely warmer. So just keep that in mind if that's something you want to do. The next pattern that I'm recommending is the Moon Crush Pullover by Jacqueline Sislak. I have just finished the Rift Tee by her. I still need to block it, but I am really impressed with her pattern. The Rift Tee was really easy to make. You could do customized biceps, you could do customized short rows for the bust. So I think her designs are super inclusive and they just look really cool. And the Moon Crush Pullover is no different. It does use fingering weight yarn. A lot of these projects are fingering or sport, and I apologize for that. I just love the color scheme and I love color work. I think they're really fun to do and they really break up from the monotony of stockinette stitch. So this is a color block sweater. You can see that she uses 3 different colors, but honestly, I feel like you can add more. It's up to your personal preference and your taste. And she does use 3.5 millimeter needles. So based on experience, it's going to be a very long sweater to make, but everything great comes with patience. It does come in 9 sizes, ranging from 36 inches to 68 inches or 90 centimeters to 170 centimeters. So it does fill up the gap for different sizing, which I find amazing. She is wearing the crop version, but I believe this is a top-down sweater. So you can definitely play around with the sizing and you can elongate it if you want. I personally, when it comes to sweaters, I prefer kind of cropped in my personal opinion. I do like the idea of a longer body, especially for the cozy fall time where you kind of want to feel cozy and just feel like, you're all warm during the cold winter time or the cold season. The Moon Crush pullover does come in 2 different colorways. You can do a 3 colorway or you can do a 2 colorway depending on what suits you. And if you are living in the summertime like me, or you prefer something like a tank top, she does have a sleeveless version of this, which I might make, I might not. I don't personally like showing my arms, so we shall see if I end up doing that. And I think this is the last pattern for my sweater category. This is the Hex Pullover by Sheila Toy Stromberg. She's so beautiful. When I say I like color work, I really do love color work, even though I don't do it as often as I wish I could. This is beautiful, and it kind of reminds me of, you know, that eye that's quite popular in Turkey, the evil eye. You've probably seen it. I was given it as a gift from my friend, and this looks absolutely beautiful. Yes, as she talked about it, it's to get yourself protection from your own evil eye sweater. But this is, what she says, is surprisingly easy to knit because of the worsted weight yarn. And I just love the way that it looks. I love the intricate eye designs. I love the bell sleeves. And it's so pretty, especially in this mustard color. It has 10 sizes ranging from extra small to 6XL. And uses 5mm needles. It's so pretty. I love it. I love the designs. Also, there is 2 versions of this pattern. You can do the standard fit or the custom fit, depending on your preference. I am very scared of doing custom fits. There's sweaters or sweater recipes that are available on Ravelry, on Etsy. But I don't know, I just feel a lot more comfortable doing written patterns. But that's just my opinion. It's okay. But if you're interested in doing that and you don't want to do any guesswork, you can definitely just use the custom fit formula. I do love the bell sleeves and the color work designs. I think it's so pretty. And even the boat neck is just so unique from what I've seen. You don't see a lot of boat neck patterns, especially so high on the neckline. This was just released this October as well. So perfect for spooky season. Would I be making anything for Halloween? Probably not, but I was aiming for a crochet spider top. I thought that was really cute, but I don't know if I'm ready to do a piece like that for crochet. I'm still very much a novice when it comes to crochet. That is all the sweaters that I have in this video. Let's move on to cardigans. I remember wearing a lot of cardigans, a lot of sweaters in my time when I was experiencing fall. Not so much now, but I do wear the occasional cardigan, especially when I feel like it fits my outfit. So I have about 6 cardigans here. No, I have 1, 2, 3. Yes, I have 6 cardigans here that I wanted to talk a little bit about. And the first one is the Semper Cardigan V-neck by the Knit Pearl Girl. This was just released. It's a new release. A lot of them are. It is from October 2023 and uses DK weight yarn. She is, I would call, a very basic cardigan, and this is definitely a positive comment. I think it's a very basic cardigan that everyone should have in their wardrobe. So obviously, because it's a cardigan, you have to do the yoke and the body flat, and then you can work the sleeves in the round. I think what I like a lot about this cardigan is its simplicity in its design, which means you can make it in any color and it should fit your wardrobe regardless of your personal style. And everyone should have at least one cardigan that is just like that. And I really love how beautiful it is in its simplicity. It uses 6 buttons, and if I can see correctly, it does look like it's a crop sweater, but I'm sure if you're just working on the body, you can definitely elongate it if you desire. And it does start with neckline shaping and raglan inches, so you can elongate it if that is your choice. And there is a slight taper for the sleeves. What I'm very impressed by with this cardigan is that it comes in 12 different sizes from A to L. And because of that, and because this is also a very thick cardigan, it uses 2 yarns held together. It requires 1,800 yards to 3,882 yards. So I'd say about 1,650 to 3,550 meters. You can check it out on the Ravelry if I make no sense of my words. But I really enjoy this color. Also, I've heard that red is going to be the new trendy color for 2024. I don't know whether that's true, but we are in a very pink year, which I like. I like pink. I'm not wearing it today, but a lot of my room is pink. So seeing the trend for red, I think this would be a very popular choice. And you can definitely find a cardigan like this at any staple store like H&M or Zara. But you know, it's always a little bit better to for the environment to make your own clothes. So this is what I would recommend as your standard basic go-to cardigan. Another cardigan that I have is the Instant Gratification cardigan by Minimi Knit Design. And this, for a change, uses bulky weight yarn, and it's 12 stitches by 18 rows. So it is a bulky girl. She uses 8mm needles and has a whopping 10 sizes. We needed to separate a little bit from, you know, the fingering and the DK. Let's keep some bulky cardigans, some bulky sweaters. And I really love this because it seems like such a quick and easy knit to make. And it looks so warm and cozy. I'm a sucker for big buttons, which she definitely has in her photos here. Only uses 3 buttons, which is great. And I love that it is a raglan cardigan. So you do it from the top down, and it's using blown yarn, and I've worked with blown yarns. I really like it, and it is very lightweight and warm because of the blown yarn. So something like Drop's Wish would be really, really great to use for a pattern like this. So the bust size ranges from 76 centimeters, which is 30 inches, to 168 to 66 inches. I'd say 30 inches for a bust size is pretty small. My bust size would be about 34, and I usually knit the extra small anyway. So something like this, I would actually have to go with the probably size 3 or 4. Which I quite like actually. I think it would be really, really fun. So when it comes to picking out a yarn, it really just depends on what is good for you and what you like to design with. And this seems like a very popular pattern. It just released last year and it already has 100 projects. I definitely want to make another cardigan. I haven't made a cardigan in a while actually. Maybe I should make my own. Let me know if you want me to make a cardigan. That'd be really cool. That is my next goal, make a cardigan. But anyway, let us move on with the next cardigan we have, and this is the Garden Cardigan by Jared Flood. It is a little bit on the expensive side when it comes to a PDF. It is $15 USD, which is a little bit expensive for me personally. But that is not a complaint. I understand why people would charge that much for something they've worked very hard on. So this is not me shaming them. $15 is a very fair price for them. And for a pattern like this, I think it looks absolutely beautiful. This pattern has 11 sizes, quite a lot of sizes. That is 11 sizes, and it does have the full schematics available if you do want to check it out. This is definitely what I would consider more for the intermediate knitter. I would consider myself intermediate-ish. There's some techniques that I still haven't mastered, like brioche, which I feel like a lot of people work on, but I'm just too scared to do it. But this one I think is for the intermediate who really wants a beautiful kind of cable design, especially for the back. Look at that, that's so pretty. And as I mentioned earlier, the finished dimensions are sizes 1 through 11, and it should fit a 37.5 inch to 76 inch bust, or a 95 to 193 centimeters for the finished circumference. So it should be able to fit a wide variety of people if that's something that you're interested in. I will say it seems like it is a very intricate design. It does use rib cable cast on, Italian tubular cast on. That's 2 different types of cast on for one project. I just figured out the rib cable cast on like 3 days ago. And it also uses a sloped bind off. I'm very interested to see what a sloped bind off is. They have video tutorials, so I might be interested in figuring that out for myself. But they do have a lot of projects at their website. It is from brooklyntweed.com. So they have yarns, they've got patterns and other resources. You should check it out if you want to. Let's move on to another cardigan. We have one by Lily Kate France, and this is the Any Day cardigan. I've knitted, I want to say 2 of her pieces. I've test knitted for her sweater, and I didn't just finish. I finished the Avenham cardigan last year, and then never posted about it because I was really bad with like social media for a good chunk of my time this year. But this one uses DK weight yarn, DK weight yarn held together to make a bulky stitch. And she is gorgeous. She is flouncy, she is bouncy. She fits a bust from 28 to 30 inches to 60 to 62 inches. So that is 9 sizes that are available. I will say, I do like a V-neck cardigan. She's pretty, she's cute, and I'm a sucker for balloon sleeves. I've mentioned this before, but anything with like balloony sleeves, I absolutely adore. This is a slightly cropped cardigan. Cropped cardigans are quite popular, or like cropped sweaters, cardigans, or garments in general, I think are very popular, especially on trends right now based on how it was in the late 2010s to early 2020s. I wonder, and this is me going on a little tangent, how popular it will be in the future, especially since, you know, fashion is cyclical and we're entering the age where it might start going down. The hemlines might expand things. But I'm curious to see where it goes in terms of length. And I think the cropped sweaters and cardigans are a lot more trendier these days. And I do like them. I do. I'm just curious to see where it goes. But enough the tangent. Let's continue to focus on her cardigan. This one uses 7mm circular needles. And it does feature a cropped body, like I said. But you can definitely lengthen it if you wanted to do some other straight rounds for the body. It is designed to fit really tight on the waist, which I like. I do like myself a nice tight waist cinch. But if you don't like that, you can always, instead of going for 2 sizes lower on the needles or 3 sizes lower, because she goes from 7mm to 5mm, you can go maybe a 6mm instead, but it's up to you. What's so great about this sweater too is that it's not actually a stockinette. It's a garter stitch with exposed seams, so you actually knit it inverted, and I quite like that, or you seam it inverted, and I think it just gives that unique touch to any cardigan, or any sweater really that you make is a different texture other than stockinette. That's just my opinion. The next pattern that I have is Field Day Cardigan by Ozetta, also known as Hayley Smedley. She's beautiful. I really want to make an Ozetta pattern. I've been saying this for a while now, for a year. I really love how simple but well made her patterns look, and I'm very curious. This cardigan might be the one that I finally make something from her. This uses DK weight yarn, and it comes in 9 different sizes from XL to 5XL. So it is, like most of the cardigans, is worked top down and then closed in the front with 4 buttons. It does feature back shaping and drop shoulders for a relaxed fit, and the sleeves are designed to be a lot more loose and tapered than your average sweater, I'd say. The sleeves are pretty straight, to be honest. Like, there's no taper in it. It's a very straight sleeve like this. So if that's something you're interested in, I think you should definitely check it out. I think my favorite thing about this cardigan specifically is the drop shoulder. I do like a nice drop shoulder cardigan. I like drop shoulder items, but I don't make them as much, unfortunately. But I like the subtleness of the button band as well. It is rib, or it's a double knit, but you cannot tell from the design. And I think it's because of the yarn she chose as well, because it is a DK weight yarn and it looks like it's kind of fluffy too. So keep that in mind if you are planning on making this. I think this would be perfect for like the milder months, like September, where it's not too cold, not too hot, the perfect day, as some would say. But this is just something I would like to keep in mind even when I'm knitting my own cardigans. And last but not least for the cardigans, we have the Sail Away cardigan by Marie Green. Going back into my new interest for color work, I also want to look at cardigans that do have color work, like this design specifically. It is, do you call this a yoke, or do you call this, what do you call this? I don't know what you call this, but it has like a yoke design. Is that what you call it? So that you can find in a lot of sweaters, especially from the Nordic countries. I think this one is really, really pretty with the designs, and it's subtle enough that it won't be so obvious to the normal standard non-knitter eye, but it's so intricate in and of itself that I think it would be really, really fun to knit up. This is a top down again, and it's a seamless cardigan, and you feature one main color and then 2 contrast colors. And you can make it in 2 different ways. You can do the Sail Away Original, who uses 2 contrast color, or you wanted something more simpler called the Coastal Grandma version, and that uses a 2 color variation. So it's up to you what you want to do. It was released in May 2022, so it was about a year ago, and it also comes in 9 sizes. This one uses a lot of needles, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 needles. You can work this cardigan in either DK or worsted weight. If you're somebody from the warmer climates like me, you probably want to also work something with plant-based like bamboo or cotton, just because it's easier to wear out. Or if you are living in the colder climate, obviously I would recommend some kind of wool. The one here that she recommends is Barocco Ultra Wool or Knit Picks High Desert Worsted. I really want to try a lot more merino and wool, but I'm always too scared to wear them out, especially because I know I would be just a little bit sweaty in it, and then I have to wash it, and this is a whole other thing. But anyway, if I were to make this, I would probably do it in a yellow. I love this one, Sail Away from Olive Knits. I like the color. I love mustard. I love yellow, but the red is a really great contrast. I think it's red or it's purple. It's purple. I like the contrast of the color because I believe purple is complementary to yellow, and I love a good, nice contrast, especially with the white that kind of breaks it apart. So I'd probably make an exact copy of this if I had it, but we'll see. We've got the cardigans, we got the sweaters. Let's move on to the dresses, which is preferably my favorite, and all 3 of these are the ones that I'm most likely to knit up if I had enough yarn. Asterisk, if I had enough yarn and time and patience. It's all in my Delulu brain. One day. I did 6 sweaters, 6 cardigans, and I've got 3 dresses to kind of nicely wrap it up into a bow for 15 size inclusive patterns. And the first one that I have here is To the Nines sweater dress by Kara Eng. She's coming out October 29th. So I don't have a lot of photos yet, can't really knit it up myself, but this uses Aran weight yarn and 14 stitches by 20 rows. So that's 5.5 millimeter needles used. And what I like about this is the fit. It uses negative ease. She's a tight baddie. But also I think it just looks so cool, and I can tell that she leaves an unfinished hem here around the sleeves and the hemline at the body. But there is ribbing, or I think it's ribbing, at the neckline section. I am really interested in her designs. I featured her in my video on designers you need to know, and I think they're really pretty. A provisional cast on is required. It's not as hard as you think it is. I thought it was, but it's not actually as hard as you think it is. But it is suitable for beginners if you're interested in learning how to do so. This is a top-down dress, thank goodness, because if you're making a dress, it is really hard to figure out sizing when you're doing bottom up. So keep this in mind. This pattern is going to be released on the 29th if anyone is interested in making it. It does look like a very tight dress, so keep that in mind if you do not like that. If you have a little bit of a tummy like me and sometimes you don't want to show it off, you can always look at the other patterns that I have because they're less tight with the negative ease. But you know what? I say screw that. Show off your tummy like I'm doing right now. You can't see it, but it's there. I'd say this pattern is, or at least the dress itself, is a very versatile knit because of the turtleneck, because of the long sleeves, because of the shape. It is very pretty, and you can make it a shift dress, you can make it more fitted, or you can use fuzzy yarn or make it sleek. It all depends on what you want to do with the design, and that's how customizable it is. So keep that in mind if that's something you want to do. I can't say much about her as a knitwear designer, mostly because I haven't tried knitting any of her patterns yet. She tends to use a lot of bulkier weight yarn, which I unfortunately do not have the time to do. or afford bulky weight yarn, but definitely check it out if you are interested. The next dress that I have, I would say is kind of inspired by Wednesday, but it came out in October 2021 and Wednesday came out last year. This is Mare by Vera Valimaki. This is a striped, oversized dress, and she looks so badass. I want a boxy fit dress. I think it looks really fun, and it has a lot of ease. It has extra long sleeves and a straight body. So it has a very interesting or very simple design. The Mare has strong contrast, and it has generous ease, extra long sleeves, and a straight body. So I don't, and this is just me off the top of my head, I don't think it would use a lot of intense or intermediate design techniques. I think it would be very simple, especially since it's a straight body with a lot of ease to it. And it does come in 9 sizes with a recommended ease of 8 inches. I think 8 inches for a recommended ease is pretty good for a nice oversized boxy fit. That being said, because it is a dress, it would take up a lot of yarn. This one takes up 1,105 to 2,318 yards, or 1,010 to 2,120 meters, but it does come in 9 sizes. Keep in mind that this is for 5mm needles to 4.0mm needle. A lot of words I've been talking about, but it does use worsted weight yarn. So I feel like it would be a really cozy knit for anyone who's interested in making dress like this. It does remind me of Wednesday, but I think it's because she wore a dress similar in the Netflix show. That being said, I didn't really like the Netflix show. I thought it was just okay, but that's a different story for another day. I look at the patterns that everyone has made, and they really play around with the color and the contrast, and they even use different like colorways, like up to 3 or 4. So it's all about what you want to do and your ideas for the pattern. I think it'd be really fun to see somebody make this, especially an extra long version. It'll take up a lot of yarn, but an extra long version would be so fun to see. Another pattern that I have, last but not least, is the Love Magic dress by Disco Stitch. Fun fact, I actually have the sweater version of this, but I haven't made it. I bought it in 2020 or 2021, and I still have not made it. I need to, because it's been sitting in my pattern library for a while now, but I adore Disco Stitch's designs. I think it's fun and funky, and it's so unique compared to a lot of designers that stick with neutral palettes. And for this one, this is a mock turtleneck, and it is a long sleeve, and the freaking sleeves, man, it looks so good. It's so fun and funky, and I just absolutely adore it. The reason why I chose the dress instead of the sweater is, one, I had already too many sweaters in this video, but two, I think it looks really fun as a dress because you can see that there is a waist shaping, and you can do either a baby doll dress or you could do a longer skater dress depending on what you like. If I were to make a dress like this, I would probably do it in like a baby doll dress and make the dress itself longer, but that's just my personal preference. You can do a large dramatic sleeve, or you could just do a little tiny bell sleeve, but I think they're all really pretty. And this is supposed to be a 0 to negative ease depending on your preference, but I think it's so fun to see. It does come in 9 sizes, and it requires either 950 to 3,030 yards or 869 to 2,771 meters. So just keep that in mind. It does use DK weight yarn, but 5mm needles. I don't think that is as heavy as I thought it would be. That being said, the dress itself is pretty short. It's just above the knee. If I were to make this, I would definitely make it longer, probably up to my calf, and that would require a lot more yarn. So keep that in mind if you do plan on making this. And I think that is all from me. This video is going much longer than I anticipated, but if you think I missed out on any fall autumn patterns, please let me know. You can just leave it in the comments. I usually try to reply to all the comments that I see, and if you're interested in watching more, I make new videos every week, at least I try to. And yeah, I guess that's it. Also, the pattern coming out, I'll talk about it more, should announce it more on Instagram, but you can find me there. And yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely day, and I'll see you next week. Bye!